And Doug is going to be doing speech number 4, which is titled Lead or Get Out of the Way. So let's have a nice round of applause for Doug. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster colleagues. Today I'm going to talk about leadership. Something for the first 20 years of my career that I never paid much attention to. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I've had some really bad managers and decided to kind of start paying attention to it. I don't know if it's because of them or because I'm growing up. God, I hope it's not that I'm growing up. But what is a leader? A leader is somebody that others will gladly and confidently follow. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about what the difference between a leader and manager is, the different types of authority for leaders, and then I'm going to talk about different traits of leaders. So what's the difference between a leader and a manager? Because there is a difference. You know, they didn't come up with that saying that leaders lead and managers manage or anything. If you're a manager, more than likely you're a decent leader, but you can be a good leader without being a manager. So a leader is somebody that makes sure that the right questions get asked. And manager should be the person that's making sure that those questions get answered. The way I see it is managers should be developing the people to develop the solutions. Next thing I want to talk about is leadership authority, formal and informal. So you have formal authority where you're the boss and everybody has to follow you and listen to you just because of your implied authority. Or you have informal authority where you get people to follow you through personal relationships. It's getting people to follow you when they don't have to. It's people listening to you based on your experience or your reputation among your peers. And leadership, no matter what kind of authority involved, should be about enabling people, not forcing them to do what you want them to do. The next thing I'd like to talk about is characteristics of a leader. The first one is character. This is what makes a leader worth following. It's if your people don't know what to expect from you, they're going to look somewhere else for leadership. Character involves doing what's right because it's the right thing to do, regardless of the cost. The next thing I'd like to talk about is communication. Leaders are supposed to, or should paint a preferred mental picture and try to get people to follow them. It's uncertainty is, it's always there. But the job of a good leader is to be able to communicate and paint a picture and be clear at it when there is uncertainty and unknown outcomes. Calm the troops down. Get them going forward and not worry about things. A leader also is the person that has the courage to say publicly what others are whispering privately behind the scenes. The last trait of leadership that I like to talk about is trust. People will tolerate honest mistakes, but if you lose their trust, it's going to be very difficult to regain their confidence. So as a leader, you need to treat trust as one of your most valuable assets. And as a successful leader, you want to have that trust because the most important thing you can do, or result of what you do, is how you make your people feel. If you make your people feel good, and you as a leader have a bad day, they're more than likely going to forgive you for that. You build up some goodwill there. Today I talked about some traits of leadership. Talked about the difference between leaders and managers. Talked about different types of authority. And talked about some of the characteristics of being a good leader. Character, communication, and trust. One thing I'd like to leave you guys with is, leadership isn't about what happens when you're there, but about what happens when you're not there.
Thank you, Doug. That was a very good speech. It's nice hearing the perspective from somebody who has a lot of that leadership experience, which is somewhere I'd like to go eventually, but thankfully not something I have to deal with quite yet.